Good evening, and thank you for being here. Across our nation, I have been engaging in conversations with other superintendents that are facing similar issues, rising costs and declining enrollment. As a close to 30-year educator, I've seen many attempts to address these challenges, selling properties for one-time funds, cutting programs, authorizing layoffs, often while housing insecurity in their cities continues to rise and educators and families are pushed farther and farther from the communities that they serve. Selling properties for one-time funds gets fast cash that plugs holes in budget deficits, and it's a practice that other school districts have enacted. And the results were temporary relief with little to no long-term benefits for educators, students, or the surrounding community. Tonight represents a different approach. This board and this district are doing something bold, visionary, and deeply progressive. We are asking, what if a school district leveraged its assets not by retreating, but by reinvesting? What if instead we used our land to strengthen our workforce, retain families, and stabilize our neighborhoods? This is exactly what this initiative represents. Our goals are simple and clear. We're striving to bring affordable housing to at least 10% of our San Diego Unified workforce, and tonight we're ready to take the next step toward making that vision real for our educators and for the region we serve. In the near future, 1,500 units of affordable housing will be built on 5 district properties, including right here on this site where we sit tonight. I believe deeply that our schools are at their best when the people who teach, support, and care for our students can also call this community home. Affordable housing allows our employees to live closer to the students that they serve, build meaningful relationships with families, and fully participate in the life of our neighborhoods. By retaining ownership of our land and entering long-term ground lease partnerships, we not only support housing affordability, we strengthen our district financially, generate ongoing lease revenue, and invest in the long-term health of San Diego communities. No other education organization has taken a step of this scale and this significance. This is what tonight's action represents. Because of both the outcome we are seeking and the values we uphold, integrity, transparency, and public trust, we've engaged in a process over the past 10 months. This process included clear budget priorities centered on affordability and labor standards, multiple public workshops, an evaluation committee with subject matter expertise, legal and regulatory consultation, and a competitive solicitation that resulted in 15 bids and 5 recommended contracts, all of which were made available to the public last week. That is a true commitment to transparency. The action before the board tonight is specific and focused to authorize staff to negotiate term sheets for joint occupancy agreements with developers recommended by the evaluation committee. This next phase allows for rigorous vetting of financials, project feasibility, fully aligned with the law and with the best interests of San Diego Unified Community. Since the docket dropped last Friday, the disappointment of those not recommended has been voiced, and as superintendent, I understand that any process everywhere, no matter how strong, will always have refinements. But I want to acknowledge that the feedback has been both heard and received. It is also important to note that all members of the evaluation committee were required to declare no conflict of interest related to these projects or any developer, along while not engaging in any conversations in the evaluation process to ensure an objective analysis and recommendations. We sit here tonight representing more than a school district. We represent an educational institution committed to creating a healthy ecosystem for our city, one that supports educators, stabilizes families, and strengthens neighborhoods. This initiative is progressive because it imagines what public institutions can do when they lead with this courage. It must also be done right, thoughtfully, lawfully, and transparently, because it has potential to become a national model. With that, I would like to turn it over to Lee Dolgeroff, our Senior Executive Director of Facilities Planning and Construction, and Deputy Superintendent Drew Rollins. I'm inviting you to come up to the dais, please, who will walk us through the 5 proposals and the rationale behind the Evaluation Committee's recommendations. Thank you, Dr. Pedersen. I just had a lot to say about this because it's important. Thank you.